show that's knocking out the competition. The kick-ass podcast that make you want to listen. The place where boxing fans and fighters rejoice. Thumbs up for Richie. You're listening to The Fighter's Voice.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. Unlike our guests, Manny Robles. We're simply knocking out the competition. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to jump right to it. You know, we got a lot of topics and a lot of things that we want to take care of, such as some upcoming fights with Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, David Benavidez, Caleb Plant. You know, the list goes on. But you know what? I want to introduce our guest because I don't even want to go any further without getting his input and his take. And I really don't know how to describe this man. I describe him as a worldwide trainer, class act, second to none. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, Manny Robles. Welcome to The Fighter's Voice, Manny.
Right on, right on. Thank you for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to be on your show.
Man, whenever you come on, I just feel so comfortable, man. I feel like, you know, just two friends talking in the garage, you know, and it always seems to, you know, balance itself out and, you know, just pull out some stories where we normally didn't have a script, so to speak, and we just kind of go wherever the night takes us.
That's right.
But tonight, I want the night to take us deep, involved in. Let's jump right to it, man. How's Virgil Ortiz looking? You know, how's him and his dad's relationship as far as inside of the ring, father trainer, and your relationship with them? Because these are the questions that have been coming in today, and how Virgil Ortiz is doing, coming off the injury and what have you.
No, he's doing well. He's doing well. As you know, he came off an injury, then he got a chance, an opportunity to fight late last year, and that went well. And he's right back in the gym again. You know, he's been in the gym. He's been here in California since January. You know, because they weren't certain about the fight date, so they came out. Yeah. They came out early, and they haven't left for home. They've been here since early January. You know, we're now in the month of March, and you know he's hitting it hard in the gym, and the kid's super disciplined, super dedicated. So, you know, it's always a pleasure to have him in the gym because he's a class act. You know what I mean? You know, it's with my other boxers and whatnot. It's always a pleasure to have him around because he makes everybody work that much harder.
Yeah, and you know, I say it, and you know, until it'll never get old. Iron sharpens iron, and you know, positivity rubs off on people, and you know, we know negativity does, so we try to stay away from that. So we all try to surround ourselves with the best athletes around, the best trainers around, the best podcasters around, or what have you. Right. And he seems to be doing fairly well. Very young, he seems to be a sponge. Him and his dad, that chemistry is working really well. Mm-hmm. My question is to you, man. You've seen a lot of fighters in come in and out of the gym around you. Who would you compare him with at this point of it in his career? And where do you think he can lead to? Who does he remind you of?
He reminds me of Oscar Valdez, a young Oscar Valdez, definitely. You know what I mean? He works extremely hard. He's to himself. He's a pretty mellow, quiet guy. You know what I mean? He doesn't say a whole lot, but he's very friendly with the you know the rest of the guys at the gym. But when it's time for him to go to work, it's just like it's all work. You know what I mean? So he reminds me of a young Oscar Valdez, for sure.
You know, I posted, I think it was last week, he could definitely possibly be the strongest 147-pounder in the division.
Well, numbers don't lie, man, and he's got his record to prove that. You know what I mean? 100%. He's got a 100% knockout ratio, and you know he's definitely a top 147-pounder, a top contender, and you know he's not a world champion yet, but I'm telling you, the way this kid works, I wouldn't be surprised if he does become a world champion come April 29th, and not only that, but be a champion for a while.
That's in Texas, his backyard, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, he's from Dallas, Texas, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, that fight itself, Manny, as well as, you know, I know it's going to answer a lot of questions. A lot of people are asking, okay, is he ready for the Bud Crawfords, the Spence and what have you? And he remains focused on his own career and waiting for his own number to be called and getting ready to punch in that number, that clock, and you know, put that strap around him. This fight is going to answer a lot of questions. I don't think the champ is just going to hand over his belt. I know Virgil's going to have to go in there and invade and press the action and do what he's been doing his entire career.
No, definitely. Like I said, there's nothing easy about this fight. That is the reason why he works as hard as he does. He works hard for every fight. He's a pleasure to have around, a pleasure to work with. Like I said, he's a dedicated fighter. You don't have to tell him to get up in the morning and put in road work or you know uh, anything for that matter. You don't have to tell him, ask him to work hard in the gym. He knows what he needs to do. You know what I mean? And it's just again, he's easy to work with. Uh, I want to see him succeed. I want to see him become a world champion, be the best fighter at 147, and he's got his hands full with this opponent now with Stanionis. He's
Yeah.
nothing easy about this guy. He's as solid as a champion can be, and but like I said, I'm confident. I'm confident in the work that he's putting in at the gym, and the sparring partners, the solid work he's been, solid sparring he's been getting in the gym, and the solid work he's been getting all around. With our strength and conditioning coaches in Matias Servin, and obviously his dad, Virgil Senior, Hector, myself, and the other coaches at the gym, Estrellita, and everyone else for that matter. We're all pitching in and doing everything we can to help and to make sure that he comes in ready.
He's a big 147 pounder. I may be getting way ahead of myself, but I do
Huge.
see him being victorious. I do see him having some success at the 147 pounds. And then I already got a dream match, Manny.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him and Tim Zoo at 154 pounds. Tim Zoo
Okay.
was
That'll
successful
be a
last
great fight.
Saturday. I
Yeah.
think that'd be a great matchup.
It'd be awesome. Yeah, yeah, for sure. But hey, listen, first things first, man. We got
Absolutely.
Stanionis right in front of us first. And then why
Absolutely.
not, win the fight? Obviously, God willing, we win the title versus Stanionis, and then we can move on and then possibly unify with the rest of the champions in the division. Let's not forget Terrence Crawford. Let's not forget Errol Spence and everyone else that's in the division.
Absolutely.
We got a lot of work to do. But again, as I said, first things first. He's got Stanionis, standing in front of him come April
Yep.
29th, and we got to handle our business and keep working hard. There's nothing easy about this, and there's no secret to success, as you know what I mean. It's hard work. That's it. There's no if or buts. There's no magic potion, if you will. It's just hard work. Showing up every day, putting in the work, and obviously having a good game plan, which is important, and then performing and executing the game plan inside the ring.
Hey, I agree with you. And you know what? In about maybe 9 months to a year, we're going to look back at this in the archives, and we're going to bring that matchup up, and we'll see what happens there. But absolutely, man. I mean, I'm not getting ahead of myself. I just get excited sometimes, man. I mean,
Of
I
course,
get the opportunity of looking from the outside inside, and you, my man, the professional you are. Hey, we take one step at a time, and you got to make sure that you are focused, because you take your
you
eye
have
off
to.
the prize, and it passes you by.
Absolutely, man. You have to win this game. You know what I mean? You can never underestimate your opponent. All it takes is one punch. Remember that, and
Absolutely.
I'm sure Stanionis is working just as hard as we do to make sure he stays undefeated and make sure he keeps that belt. But it's gonna be a great fight. We got nothing but respect for
Yeah, it's a wild
Stanionis
card
and his
fighter, correct?
team. Yeah,
Wild
yeah,
card fighter,
Stanionis and
right?
his team.
Wild card.
Training with Freddie, training with
Yeah,
uh, you know um, the coaches out there in at
yeah,
Wildcard, and I know the kid's gonna be ready, and so are we, and we have mutual respect for one another. The coaches and whatnot. We go to Wildcard every now and then for sparring, and we know they understand. We're both sides of the both sides understand what we have in front of us, and what's at risk. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
both teams are going to be ready. Both fighters are going to be ready. It's going to be an exciting fight, man. I know a lot of people are not talking about it a whole lot right now. We still got a little ways to go, but as we get closer to the fight, man, let me tell you, it's going to be a hell of a fight, and you can't miss it.
No, we can't. But I just found something out today, right now, this moment, off of you, Manny. Did you just come from the gym, or will you be going to the gym after the show?
No, actually, I came from the gym earlier today. Yeah, I'm done. My day
Okay,
is done.
you have that fighter on you right now. You have that
Oh,
trainer on you right now, like you're working the corner in a pay-per-view fight, brother. You're
yeah.
on a different tune right now, and I love it.
Check this out, man. I mean, when I'm not, if when I wasn't on the interview with you, I was, and I was in my man cave, watching and studying, the different opponents and different fights that we have coming up. To just doing my homework constantly when I'm in the gym. I'm constantly watching fights and trying to study our opponents, trying to come up with game plans for our different fights that we have coming up, and
Yep.
learn, try to just try to let it all sink in and try to take as much information as I possibly can, and not just watching and studying fights, but learning the game. You never stop learning, for sure.
Exactly. I agree with you, and I will say we have a different guest on tonight, and I love it. But see, not too many, and even if I tap myself on the shoulder, Manny, not too many hosts would recognize that, or they may recognize it and be afraid to say it. But I recognize it. I call it the way it is, and I can tell, and I love that vibe because it's rubbing off on me right now. I'm getting
Right.
fired up right now.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. It's always a
Absolutely.
pleasure being on your show, man. We always have a good time. Thank you for having me.
We do, and one thing that's on my bucket list before we cover some of these fights is one day I want to work a fight with you, man. I want to sit
Right on.
next to you and commentate a fight with you one day. I mean, I just think that'd be awesome, and I think we knock it out of the park.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. I've commentated a couple fights here and every now and then, so why not do it again? It'd be my pleasure. It's always fun.
Yeah, absolutely,
There's no pressure.
absolutely.
That's
No,
easy.
no
There's no
pressure, man.
pressure.
Call it the way you see it, man. Especially when you see things getting ready to happen, the fighter setting traps or guys, dropping the right hand, and
Right.
you see
Right.
it all the time.
That's all. Yeah, man. It's great. There's like I said, with every fight, every fighter should have a strategy. Every coach should have a strategy to, work a corner and guide their boxers to victory. It's always important to have a good solid corner, for sure.
Exactly. And talking about a solid corner and a solid fight coming up, man. I'm looking forward to this. It's right around the corner, Manny. March 25th, David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, Las
Yeah,
Vegas, Nevada, MGM Grand. I love the matchup. I love the style. I'm waiting. My outcome in my head, it keeps going back and forth, back and forth. Um, Possibly, I know who I may want to put my last dollar on, but you can't count Caleb Plant out. You got to remember, he's embracing this. He's
hmm
been waiting for this, and
hmm
he's been studying. And for the most part, he's been playing the mind games, and he's kept his composure, which is key to boxing.
absolutely. I think Caleb Plant is a very good fighter. I think you learn more from your defeats than you do your wins, or your victories. And he learned a great deal from the Canelo fight. He actually fought a good fight up until he
Yeah,
got caught and he got stopped. But up until then, he was fighting a pretty good fight, a pretty decent fight. So I'm sure he
great
learned a
movement.
great deal from the fight. And not only that, he fought the pound for pound the best fighter in the world, and he took him into deep water. So it wasn't easy for Canelo to he got the stoppage at the end, but there were some close rounds, and
Yeah,
he was doing a good job while he was boxing. But he's got a he's got a young hungry fighter, young hungry lion in Benavides. Benavides is no joke, as we all know. It should be an awesome fight. You know what I mean? Uh,
for as long as it lasts.
for as long as it lasts. I mean, Caleb Plant is a good fighter. He's a good boxer, durable fighter, durable boxer. Because I want to call him that. He's a boxer. And then we have Benavides. He's a fighter, but he's also a boxer. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean when I say a fighter. He's gonna go in there and he's gonna hunt him down and he's gonna break him down. He's gonna, and possibly try to get that knockout. But it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy for either fighter. We have two different fighters with two different styles, totally different styles. And like what they say in boxing, styles make fights, man. So
Yes, they do.
it's gonna be interesting to watch and see what type of game plan both fighters have, and watch them execute their game plans and see who comes out on top.
I think you're feeling the same way that I feel. After 6 rounds, it's going to be a very close fight, but then those body shots and the wear and tear is I mean, I don't see it. I see it a stoppage in the 9th round. That's just me. David Benavidez, I mean, a big boned kid, man. I mean, easily he's going to be a great light heavyweight champion.
No, for sure.
I see him eventually moving up to
Yeah,
to
no,
the light heavyweight.
eventually, 100%. Eventually, he's gonna move up to. He's got some work to do. He's got some work cut out in front of him at the super
Yes, he
middleweight
does.
division. He's been a
Yes, he
world
does.
champion before, and it's been a while since he's had had a hold of that belt. But he's hungry. He's hungry to become a world champion again. There's another fighter where he's never tasted defeat, right? And
Yeah,
Benavidez, but he's
yeah,
he's hard. He's had some hard lessons to learn. Outside of the ring. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
and he's become a man now. He's grown. He's all grown up now. He's a family man. He's got his wife and kid now, and he understands what being a
What's that say?
responsible fighter, responsible parent, responsible husband is now. And maybe that's what he needed. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I Benavidez is a friend. His father Jose Benavidez is a good friend of mine, and I got nothing but love for that team, and I want to see him succeed. But this is boxing, man. Again, as I said, both fighters want to win. I when you look at boxing, you got to look at it from a neutral perspective,
Yeah.
and look at both fighters and see what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and try to match them up, like I said, and stylistically, and see what each fighter has to bring to the table. And it's going to be intriguing to see what how both we all know, and I guess we all can guess that Benavidez is going to come out swinging, and then Caleb Plant is going to try to box. But how long will that last? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when you have somebody like Benavidez right in
He's
front
going
of
to
you.
have to fight. He's going to have to sit down and fight
At,
sooner or
at
later
some point, right?
inside of
Gonna
that.
have to sit down and fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
You're
he
right.
can move around for the first 6, looking good,
Yeah,
sticking and moving,
for
but he's
sure.
going to have to sit down
Like
the second
constant
half of the
pressure.
fight, and we're going to find out what happens.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I can't wait, man. This is what boxing's about, right? We want to see
Absolutely.
the big fights, and this is definitely one of them.
Exactly. Also that day here in Fresno, California, we have a former world champion, Jose Ramirez. He's on the comeback bid, at the 140-pound division. He wants the Regis Prograis out there, the rematch with Josh
Right,
Taylor, the Teofimo Lopez is out there, possibly the Arnold Barbozas of the
right.
140-pound division. Because, as well as I know, that division is fire right now.
Stacked for sure. Yeah, who's he fighting? Jose again?
Richard,
Richard Coleman.
oh, God.
Richard
Yes,
Coleman.
yes. I wanted to say Daniel Cormier because
No,
from MMA,
nothing
yeah,
easy about this fight.
from the
I
UFC.
tell you, I
Yeah,
mean, Jose Ramirez never picks an easy fight, man, and that's what you have to
no,
respect and admire about Jose. He's always in there fighting the best fighters in the division.
retro
This is
fighter.
definitely not an easy fight for either fighter. Definitely not an easy fight for Jose, but like I said, Jose is an action packed fighter, man. He doesn't do easy. You know what I mean? So you got to
Yeah,
respect that about Jose.
absolutely. I want to talk about this briefly, and then we're going to take a small break. I want to think about, and I know I'm not comparing them, but we have the Marvin Haglers, the Tommy Hearns, the Shay Ray Leonards, Roberto Durans.
Right.
What four would you put if we can pick any four in the 140-pound division or future fighters that'll be 140-pound division? And it's okay if we get 5 or 6 of them. Who would you put in there? Like if you can have
My
a
top
tournament with the
four
top 4.
140 pounders, you're saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh
Or you
man,
can give me 5
there's
or
got to
6.
be more than four. Definitely has to
Yes,
be
there
more
is. There
than
is.
four. It's hard to just pick four at this particular moment in time. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that division is stacked with talent. You know what I mean? And obviously, Josh Taylor, I would have to put him in the forefront, and obviously Jose
Yeah.
Ramirez, Chon Cepeda,
Yes.
Regis Prograis, man. Arnold Barbosa,
Yeah.
definitely. Nobody wants to fight this kid. You know what I mean?
That's the
This
dark
kid
horse,
is
brother.
special, man. He's a great
Hungry.
boxer, action-packed fighter, smart, intelligent. Great ring generalship, and waiting for an opportunity to get a shot at a world title. And then obviously you have the I don't know if you want to call them lightweights or junior or I'm sorry, a junior welterweights, but you have Javante Davis, Tank. He's in
Yep.
between
Come on.
135, 140, but
Yeah.
you can call, you can say he's a 140 pounder if you want.
Devin
You
Haney.
know, Devin Haney. 135, 140. I mean, it's they're only one division.
Devin Haney's a big boy.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we know Devin Haney's a unified lightweight champion of the world, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, they're right there. Anybody can fight anybody.
Yeah.
135, 140. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, he's waiting for
division
that
back for sure.
big fight with
Both
Loma,
at
and then I think
lightweight
he's gonna
and
move up
at
to
and at
140.
junior welterweight for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And Teofimo?
Teofimo, of course. How can we forget Teofimo? Definitely,
No. No.
definitely.
No.
Yeah, a lot of young.
I don't know. I don't know if we can compare, but okay. I'm gonna do one, and then you can do one. I'm gonna compare with like Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm gonna put Devin Haney. So
Oh,
I'll let you take who's your Tommy Hearns out of the four.
who's my Tommy? Nah, man. I'm sorry, bro, but look. With all due
I know
respect to
there's only
all
one
the
hitman,
the 140 pounders in the division right now today, they're all great. But fighters like
but
Tommy Hearns, fighters like Sugar Ray Leonard, like Roberto Duran, those are, man,
special.
they're special, man. They're special, and like I said, I don't want to disrespect any fighters out there, but these guys were unique, man, one of a kind.
Very unique.
Every one of them. Marvin Osmarvin Hagler, of course, the Fantastic Four with Hagler,
Yeah.
with Duran, with Sugar Ray, with Thomas Hearns. I mean, and not just to mention them four, but let's not forget Iron Barkley and so
Yeah, there you go.
great.
There you go. James Kitchen.
Yes, sir. You know what I mean? A lot of
Yeah,
great fighters. And,
the Beast
but
Mugabe.
it's just, yeah. And like I said, it's a different era. It's a different
Yeah,
era. But stylistically, I can't compare these guys. And not only that, but what they were able to accomplish back then. They all fought each other. And that doesn't
exactly.
happen today. We mentioned a lot of these 140 pounders, but they
Yeah,
haven't fought each other, man. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
I mean, Jose, with the exception of Jose,
Manny wasn't having it.
Josh Taylor,
Manny, you weren't having it, huh? You said, Richard, in all due respect, bro, come
with
on.
all due respect,
We're talking about training wheels, and
just
we're
can't.
talking about Harley Davidson.
Unless they all fight each other, then then
Yeah.
we can sit down and talk about who the best is. But unless you fight each other, then you just can't. You can't make that comparison because they haven't fought each other.
No, but I know when we were mentioning Iran Barkley, James Kitchen, and
Yeah,
etc., these youngsters were Googling right now saying, who the hell is
yeah.
this? And a lot of people
Who are
realize
these guys, right? For sure,
exactly.
for sure. Great fighters,
Exactly.
man.
Yeah. One thing I do want to talk about, and we're talking about this fight, is what boxing needs. Boxing is finally going to have it, and I take my hat off to Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, people can say whatever they want to say. Oscar De La Hoya changed the game of boxing. No women showed up to boxing events until after
Yeah,
Oscar De La Hoya became a
sure.
world champion. He brought women to boxing. That's just
That's right.
plain and simple,
But
period. With
that's right.
exception, you would see Bo
Before,
Derek in the crowd because
way
her
before
agent told her
Ryan
to be there.
Garcia, right?
Well, yeah, exactly.
and,
And
and
he
and
said,
not
I'm
only
going to
that,
do
but he
whatever it
was
takes
an
to make this
Olympian.
fight.
Not only that, but he was
Yeah.
an Olympian. He was an Olympic gold medalist. He was
He fought
a
everybody, Manny.
world champion in what 5, 6 different weight classes. So, nah, Oscar was special, man. Definitely, he was special, and he fought everybody. You know what I'm
He
saying?
did.
Here's a guy that fought Chavez. Maybe Chavez wasn't at his best when they fought, but he still got there.
I mean,
He
I know.
fought Chavez.
People
He
tell me that.
fought Pernell Whitaker. He
Yeah.
fought Fernando Vargas. He fought Manny Pacquiao. He fought
Macho,
Mayweather. I
Ike
mean, he fought
Forte.
so many great fighters.
Yeah. Yeah. And, he fought them at their best. I mean,
That's right.
Gonzalez, and, Hernandez too. Gonzalez, he fought them all
Yeah,
coming up,
Benito Hernandez,
and
all world champions, by the way.
Bernard Hopkins,
Well,
Shane Mosley twice.
Bernard,
Look at his
you know,
resume. The
Shane
only one
Mosley.
he didn't
Yeah.
share the ring with, and I wanted to see that fight. They just never matched up. Was him and Acosta Azul.
Right, that would have been great, huh? That would have been
Yeah, that would
great.
have been a good fight.
Tattoo and
That would be a
Chambe
good fight.
Mitchell and
Yeah, yeah,
um, man, so many good fighters, so many great fighters back. Obakar, he fought Obakar.
yeah. Obakar. Yeah,
That
the
was a
late
great
great
fight.
Emmanuel
Obakar was
Stewart.
a great fight. A lot
Obakar.
of people don't, forget about Obakar. He was a very, very legit, very good fighter.
Exactly. I will say this, and shout out to Obakar. He's probably the best fighter out there that never won the belt, man. He just
You're
happened to
right.
be in
You're right
an era,
about that.
Manny, where they just, I mean, it's not his fault. He was
Definitely.
in every single championship
The
fight. It's
division was
just,
stacked, man.
he
What are
couldn't
you
get
gonna
over that
do?
hump. No,
You had some
exactly.
great champions back then that were hard to beat. You know what I'm saying?
Special,
And like
special.
I said, back in them days, everybody was fighting everybody.
Everybody was,
That
man.
wasn't too long ago. What happened?
No, exactly. People can say what they want about Don King, but he controlled boxing. He made sure they fought each other. They can say whatever they want, but he put the fights on that people wanted. People were satisfied, and then he bring them right back.
Yeah, you can say what you want to say about Don, man, but I remember back in them days, he put 3 or 4 world title fights together in one night. You know what I
His
mean?
whole card was stacked. He had
He,
Ricardo
he,
Lopez on there. He had Julio Cesar
he
Chavez, Simon
Chavez,
Brown,
Mike
Terry
Tyson,
Norris.
Terry Norris,
Mike
Julian
Tyson. The
Jackson,
list goes on. I mean,
Julian Jackson.
come on,
Yeah,
those were
yeah,
some
for
wars,
sure.
man.
A lot of great
Oh, don't
fights,
get me
man.
going, Manny. I mean, shoot, we can do this
I'm
all
telling
night,
you.
man.
I'm telling you.
But what I do want to do is take this opportunity right now and let everybody know, hey, if you're a sponsor and you're out there and you want to be a part of the Fighters Voice team, just let us know, get a hold of us. We'll put your logo on there. We'll make sure that these segments are sponsored by you, the sponsor. Contact us. I mean, we do have a monthly plan. We can make this happen, or you can go a 6-month plan or a year. Or if you just want to sponsor a certain fighter, or I'll let you know, for example, the next time I have Manny on the show and you want to say, hey, you know what, I want to sponsor that show, contact the Fighter's Voice. Make sure you contact me on my email. That's thefightersvoice@gmail.com. Because, Manny, we got to keep the lights on. We got to pay our bills, brother.
That's right, bro. We all do. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, your gym lights don't stay on by themselves, Manny.
No way.
No way. No, they don't. Hey, Manny, we're going to take a small break, and we're going to come back. When we come back, we're going to talk about Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis. We're going to break that down. And then, once again, as you know, I'm going to pull a dream match out of your head, and we're going
Right
to let that take place. But, hey, we'll be right back. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz.
Hi, I'm Jose Ramirez.
I'm Bob Arum.
Hi, I'm Robert Garcia, and I'm with the Fighter's Voice.
The only radio show knocking out the competition. Fighters Voice Radio Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice. If you're just joining us right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us worldwide trainer Manny Robles, ladies and gentlemen, who's in the peak of his career. If he was a fighter, you would say he's in his prime. So take that to the bank.
I appreciate
Manny,
that. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Before the break, we were talking about some of the fighters such as Roberto Duran, the Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy the Hitman Hearns. And we're talking about all these fighters in this new era today. A lot of them, they're not really fighting each other. But we're talking about an upcoming fight, and they're daring themselves to be great. 2 undefeated fighters putting their records on the line, putting their name on the line, 2 different promotion teams, 2 different fighters and styles, but you know what? They're going to share the ring and share common ground, and it's going to be a knockout night. And we're talking about Tank Davis taking on Ryan Garcia. First of all, let me know what you think about the matchup, and what does this matchup do for the sport of boxing?
I think it's a great matchup. I think it's a fight that the general public, the boxing community have been looking forward to,
Yeah.
It's a great matchup. It's a two fighters that don't like each other, and 2 different styles, of course. East Coast fighter, West Coast fighter, and Ryan Garcia, uh, respectively. They both have different styles. One's a southpaw, one's an orthodox. One's tall, one's short. Uh, they can both bang. Um, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch, man. I think from this point forward, leading up to the fight, there's gonna be a lot of a lot of saying a lot of say so going back and
Yeah,
forth between both guys and
mind games.
anyways
No, you're looking
I
good.
was saying it's going to be a great fight between both Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. East Coast West Coast fighter. Two different styles. One obviously Gervonta being the southpaw, shorter fighter of the two, and Ryan, being the taller with the longer range, longer guard. It's gonna be fun to see what type of game plan they both come up with. I think the more experienced fighter of the two, the more consistent fighter of the two, as we both know, is Gervonta Davis. You know,
Yeah,
he's proven himself time and time again, and to be one of the top fighters in the division. I don't know if you want to call that the 140, 135, or 130, because he's always moving up and down in weight. But but
catchweight.
but listen, he's proven himself time and time again, like I said, and here we have Ryan that he's got a lot to prove still. I believe, in my opinion,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Gervonta's fought the better opposition of the two. He's got a better resume. But let's not count Ryan Garcia out, man. I mean, he's got the power to change a fight really really quick. He's got a great left hook, as Gervonta says, man. He's
Pacheco.
got a good hook, and sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, and sometimes it's coming, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it should be
You know,
fun. Should be a fun fight to watch for sure.
I see this fight whenever I'm asked about it. I always say, "Well, I'll make a game time decision. I got to see something in that week at the possibly the weigh-in or the walkout or something. I got to see something inside of them." And there's a difference, Manny, is as well as I know, and going for somebody, but who's actually going to win the fight. Um, I mean, Tank Davis is just so strong. He doesn't get enough credit for his boxing IQ. A lot of people say after 4 rounds he's losing. No, he's studying and he's figuring them out, man, because he knows he can change the fight with one punch. So for him to just move around, getting another fighter's timing, I mean, he man, he has an opportunity to take over boxing with that skill
Yeah,
set. And we're starting to, now that he's on his own without Mayweather, we're starting to get a little taste of his own personality. And I like it. I like what I see. I like the fact that he's been asked to talk on the microphone, where you get a little idea of exactly who he
that's
is.
right.
And at the same time, Ryan has an opportunity to be great. He has an opportunity in front of him. He can be an overnight star with one punch and just flip boxing completely all over again.
No, no, definitely. And like I said, he's a star. He's a star in the making for sure. But this fight here, if he's able to beat Gervonta Davis, it's definitely going to take him to a new different level. You know what I mean? It's just gonna
Yeah.
take him that much higher and into boxing. And but he's got Gervonta Davis in front of him, man. He's got a guy that a hungry champion, that's proven himself time and time again. And he's not a he you know he's not afraid. He's not afraid
Not a
to
cakewalk,
go,
man.
to get in there and fight the best. So you
I
gotta
don't
respect. You gotta respect both fighters. Both fighters are warriors, and I
absolutely.
just hope they get people what what they want to see. What we all want to see is a good fight, a great fight, and again, Gervonta Davis is a technician. He's got a great ring IQ. He'll break you down one round at a time. He's never
Yeah,
in a
he
hurry.
will.
He's quick. Notice
And
how
he'll change
quick.
your mind about a
No,
lot of things.
notice, yeah, definitely. Notice how he's
Hey, hey, Manny, he'll change your mind about a lot of things. If you want to lean into him, he'll change your mind
oh,
about a lot of things.
definitely, definitely. He'll definitely make you think twice before you try to commit to something, because he'll expose you. He'll expose you
Exactly.
really quick.
Exactly. I look back at an old fight with Roy Jones going in fighting James Toney. I thought James Toney would just wear him down. He was the most experienced fighter out there, but Roy Jones was that star getting ready, just waiting for that
Mm,
opportunity, man. And because James Toney coming off that knockout against Michael Second to None,
yeah,
but that night belonged to Roy Jones, and then, as they say, the rest is history.
Absolutely. They're two great fighters, by the way. And James Tony,
Yeah,
Roy
yeah,
Jones,
and
two of
yeah,
the best
Tony,
fighters in the division
defensive
at the time.
technician.
You know,
Yeah,
two great. They
and
still got a lot to prove, especially Ryan. This is it right here. You know,
yeah, I
Ryan,
agree with you.
as we all know, he's never been a world champion, and this is his opportunity to you know prove himself and to take things to a whole new different
Yeah,
level. Got a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. You know what I mean? A lot of pressure, and just wondering,
yeah,
I'm wondering if he'll be able to handle that pressure. Gervonta's been there already. You know what I mean? Gervonta
yeah,
Davis' tank. He's
yes,
been there, done that. You know, he's fought on the West Coast at the Staples Center and having the crowd against him. You know what I mean? And having
yeah,
the majority of the crowd be against him, and so he's been there before, and he's also fighting, back east where he's a hero. You know what I mean? He's got a
yeah,
big fan base back in the East Coast, and people come out and the thousands to come and watch him fight and
this fight's going to break
so he's
records.
been on both ends. You know what I mean? He can handle pressure
Yeah,
better than most fighters can. And with all due respect, Ryan hasn't been there yet. This is definitely going to
no,
be his
no, no.
biggest stage. You know, of
I mean, I know there's a lot of people rooting for Ryan. They want Ryan to
course,
win, and the naysayers, without really thinking, they'll go, "Oh, Ryan's going to win. I got it." Well, I mean, that's it, for some, it's hard to distinguish what part is talking. The fan is talking, or the professional, or just somebody out the streets that
right?
supports Ryan Garcia. And I respect that,
Of
but
course,
for me to give that answer, I just can't give that answer. I'm not going to give you the answer that you possibly want to hear right now. But a lot could change between now and then. You know, I'd have to really be convinced, man. And winning the press conference battles verbally
yeah,
doesn't help anything once that first bell rings.
that's right. Well, look, in my opinion, I mean, I have a great deal of respect for both boxers. I'm not
Yeah,
really. I just want to see a good fight. I'm not picking one or the other. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of boxing. That's what I am, and I try to keep it neutral.
yeah,
And I just call it like it is. This is my opinion, and that's all that is. It's my opinion, and looking at the numbers, looking at the stats, and looking at their both fighters' resumes, and the way they both have, come up in boxing. I just see Tank as a more complete fighter of the two. That's just it. He's proven himself, and he's fought some of the top fighters in the division, and both obviously he's got a great knockout ratio, so he can box, he can bang, he can definitely crack. Because I faced him before with a former fighter that I used to work with. We faced Tank back east in Brooklyn at the Barclays, and he believe me, man,
yeah,
sitting ringside. Let me tell you, this guy can freaking crack with both hands. He can go to the bike, he just break you down, and you know what? He's a class act, man. I mean, personally, I
yeah.
met him. My son fought him in the amateurs, by the way, at the
Wow.
Junior Olympic Nationals. It was a great
Yeah.
fight back then, and he had a huge following back then. He was very likable kid. You know what I mean? He's great style, and he could bang and he could box. Like I said, you could see that this kid had a future way back then. They were both 15 years old when they fought, and here we
Yeah.
are 12, 13 years later, and this kid's a superstar, and I'm not surprised by it one bit. He's again, he's more of the complete fighter of the two, and he's a sharp fighter, man. I mean, I don't take anything away from Ryan Garcia. Ryan's great, he can definitely crack. And what makes Ryan dangerous is very dangerous is that he could be uh he's got his style is a little awkward where, like, sometimes I feel
Yeah.
like you don't know in which direction punches could be coming from, you know what I mean? And that's what makes him
Yeah.
dangerous
I
because
like the lead right hand.
yeah, yeah, but it's so quick, it's so fast, and it's not only that,
Yeah.
but the way he throws his punches is like you don't know in which direction punches may be coming from at times, and that's what that can make him very dangerous too. So I don't take anything away from Ryan.
Yeah, I actually saw Tank working on that, moving around and just kind of pop shotting a little bit, moving around. I mean, remember the way after Hagler was putting the pressure on Tommy Hearns, how Tommy Hearns started boxing, he started pop shotting him.
Right.
Didn't want to sit down with him anymore because he needed to get his legs and he wasn't ready to go back to another war. So he started pop shotting him. And I see Ryan Garcia having some success in that fight, doing that.
Listen,
but again, I mean, Tank is Tank.
Listen, you just brought up Hagler and Hearns. That correct?
Yes. Yes.
The best 3 rounds I've seen in my entire life, brother. If they can at least fight in that same fashion as Hagler and Hearns fought, that fight only lasted 3 rounds, but the best 3 rounds in boxing history, brother. Toe-to-toe action. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Never. And I'm telling you,
I'll tell you a quick story. I was in Vegas. A lot of people, we were ready to talk to Tommy Hearns, and he was coming down the lobby, and some lady goes, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "That's Tommy the Hitman Hearns." And I told that lady, "Look, he's not going to make it 10 feet. No. I said, I'm exaggerating. I'm standing by the slots in the corner before you get to the hotel, before you go to the round bar there. Before you get to the store, the store there that sells all the shirts, MGM Grand Manny. I said, he won't even make it near that store. Half a minute later, about a minute and a half, they were just swarmed around him. Huh? Man, he was taking baby steps. Hitman Hearns.
Yeah. Telling you,
they just swarmed him, taking baby steps. It went from, hey, I got to go, because he was talking to some folks and he couldn't even get out. But he welcomed all his fans, all the love.
Embracing him and embracing the moment. You know what I mean? He's so...
That's a living legend.
He's beloved by the entire boxing community here in America and I'm sure all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And he's just he was a great fighter. I remember back in the day, I was just a kid, man, when he beat Pipino Cuevas for the WBC.
Yeah, August 2nd, 1980, I believe, in Detroit.
I must have been I was probably 1980. I was 9 years old. So, I've been...
Pepino had that. Remember, Pepino had that big left hook.
Pardon me?
Pepino had the big left hook.
Oh, yeah. Pepino had the power. Pipino Cuevas was a very well-known, reputable fighter in Mexico and throughout the boxing.
Velvet shorts, all black shoes.
And here comes a long, lanky guy named Thomas Hearns, and he lit him up, man. Lit him up, and Pipino was never the same again after that fight.
No, he wasn't. I wish that him and that Duran fight would have been. It could have been a classic. It turned out to be one-sided, but yeah, exactly right. He was never the same after that fight,
for sure.
But I do want to ask you this in closing. I wasn't going to say sensitive, but no, it's not. You're a professional. Can Andy Ruiz not only go the distance, but can he defeat Deontay Wilder? If in fact that fight does come to pass, it's been rumored that it may happen. If it does happen, what will Andy Ruiz have to do to neutralize the power of Deontay Wilder?
He's got to fight him on the inside. He's got to fight him at short range. He can't fight at mid-range or long range because that's a right hand waiting to happen. You hear me? So he's got to fight him. He's got to fight. He's... Obviously, we all know that the Andy is, he's short for the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
He's got to get down low and fight underneath the jab, underneath that, try to get away from that right hand and get on the inside and let his combinations go, and
work on that small frame.
Instead of walking straight out, combination, step and turn left, step and turn right, and stay inside, and then he can have success. And then obviously, Deontay's job is to keep him on the outside, keep him at the end of that jab, and set him up for that right hand if he could. But it would be a great fight. It would be a great fight for boxing. I said this once, and I've said it a million times, man. Andy, when Andy's ready, when Andy's focused, when he's 100%, he can beat anybody, man. He's a special fighter. Andy's a special fighter, man. He's got the speed. He's got the power. He's got the intelligence to break you down, and he's got heart, man. And you can't teach this right here, bro. You can't teach that. And
No,
that's one thing Andy has, man. He's got a heart. So we just want to see him stay disciplined, stay in the gym and be successful, I want to see him become a world champion again. Hopefully he gets an opportunity to fight for a world title. But Father Time, man, it doesn't stop. You know what I mean? The clock keeps on ticking.
no, no,
So
no,
so
no, no,
got to hurry up and get that
no.
opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And if he does, he's got advantage
Exactly.
of it.
Take the big fights.
Got to take
Yeah.
advantage of it, and he's got
Exactly.
to stay clean. Stay in the gym and stay focused and
Stay ready.
he definitely has a shot for sure.
Absolutely. Real quick before I let you go, man, I got to ask this, man, because he's back in the gym. He's working out and he's always in great shape, man. I just know he has more to offer. I think he has some rounds left in him. Is Jamal Herring going to fight again?
Oh man, I just got a text message from Jamal Herring. As a matter of fact,
Okay, then he said, Coach, I'm coming back.
He says he needs to get himself back in shape. He's looking to fight again. So come on down, champ. He wants to give himself another
Hey, you heard it here first on the Fighter's Voice.
get another crack at it, and hopefully, get an opportunity to fight for a world title. I'm getting ahead of myself. Got to get him back in the gym first. Get a couple good wins,
Yeah.
and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I know he has a future in commentating, does a terrific job, but I still think he has some positive rounds left in him, man. And it's that Marine mentality, that discipline mentality, and it's now or never. Father Time doesn't stop. And like you said, Jamal always gets himself in tremendous shape, and I look forward to seeing him inside of the ring, if not once, twice, maybe 3 times, and fighting for that world title.
Absolutely. Let's hope so, right? Let's hope so. Things are good. Things are good in the gym. We got a lot of
Yeah. So
we got a lot of work, very busy. So, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. You know what they say, you never, when you love what you do, you never got to work a day in your life. So that's just it, man. I enjoy what I do.
Absolutely. I want to. Yeah, thank you for that info because I wasn't sure, but only on the Fighter's Voice, man. You let the whole world know, yes, Jamal Herring does have plans on coming back,
that's right.
Chasing that strap again.
Yep, that's the
Yes,
plan.
sir.
Hoping to get him back in the gym real soon, and we'll take it from there.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna have to go visit you, man. Like I said before, I know I've said it again. I got some time in April, so I don't know what your schedule's like, but I got to stop
down,
by there.
man.
I'm actually gonna make an LA tour.
For sure, come on.
I'm going to stop by your gym. I want to stop by, Wild Card, of course, Robert, a couple other gyms in LA, and I'm going to go on an LA tour. The Fighter's Voice is going on tour. Like a rock star would go on tour different towns. I'm going to go hit up all the gyms in LA during spring break, man, as many as I can. Ricky's, everybody, and anybody that'll welcome the Fighter's Voice.
Come and get it, brother. Come and get it. For sure, come and visit, man.
I will.
Stop by on the sparring
will.
day. There's a lot of action going on at the gym on sparring days. We get a lot of people coming in from different gyms and people from boxers from all over the world, man. They just come in and show up and get that good work in here in Southern California, where we're boxing capital of the world, as I call it.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe, after practice or something, you can wrap my hands and give me some pointers on the bag, man.
Sure.
And we'll document that and have fun with that.
Absolutely. Be my pleasure, brother.
Hey, man, how do we stay in contact with you? How do we follow you? What's your Twitter? What's your
Instagram? Manual.boxing. Instagram, believe it or not, I have a Facebook, so it's manual.boxing as well.
Okay. Hey, go Dodgers. Okay. Baseball's coming up pretty soon.
Go Dodgers, baby.
Hey, go Dodgers. Exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank our guest, Manny Robles, the great Manny Robles, the worldwide trainer, ladies and gentlemen. He's in the peak. He's in the prime of his career. And thank you for the time that you've given us, Manny. It's always a pleasure. It's always like, it feels to me like, we can go on. And one day we will go on and on, commentating one day next to each other, or just, having a cold adult drink and, talking boxing all day.
Absolutely. Anytime, man. My pleasure. Thank you for having me again, brother.
Absolute pleasure's all ours. Hey, I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. We're simply knocking out the competition. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. It's a wrap. Thumbs up for Rob.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week.
Remember,
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, and all the crew, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.